Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new, and happy 2023. This is my first video of the new year, which is just like so crazy that it's finally here, but it also feels really good. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ruby, I live in New York City. This is my lifestyle channel, so please be sure to subscribe if you have not already. I post 2 new videos every single week. Always lots of new content to watch and discover. I also post daily over on my TikTok, so please be sure to also go follow me over there as well. This is typically the last video that goes up every single year on my channel, but just due to kind of like a crazy hectic, good but hectic end to the year, this is now going to just be my first video of 2023. And that is my 2022 wrap up. I do these every single year where it's basically just a reflection on my year. So if you're a new subscriber, I guess it's kind of a good way to like catch up. If you're not, it's just a fun little reflection. I really love just filming these for myself. They're a great way to just kind of like look back on the entire year and just kind of like what I accomplished. Highs, lows, everything in between. I don't really feel like this video needs any more of an intro, so let's just get started with January of 2022. So January 2022, I feel like it was pretty chill. Nothing like major was going on. We weren't moving or anything. It was the start of like our 2nd year here in this apartment, which is crazy to think that right now we're at the beginning of our 3rd year here. I feel like it was like a pretty quiet month, like a very chill start to the new year. I do remember that there was a huge snowstorm, and it happened to be a day where both me and Kevin were off from work. So we went to Central Park and just walked around and saw all of the snow and the dogs that were out and the kids that were sledding, and it was so much fun. February was a pretty big month for me social media influencer content creator wise, because I was invited to a major influencer event here in New York City for One Size, where I got to meet Patrick Starr. It was a pretty like private influencer event for their launch of the Beauty Blur Balm, which is still one of my favorite like complexion products to this day. It was truly such an honor to be invited to that, though. Like, I've been to plenty of influencer events before. I feel very lucky to even be able to say that, but this event in particular really felt like it was kind of just in a league of its own. There were some pretty large content creators there, and I was definitely one of the smaller content creators there, so it was just like a huge honor, and it was a really special moment. It was also one of the best influencer events that I'd ever been to, because it was very like small and intimate, and everybody was so kind, and it really felt like just a very personal event. But I got to meet Patrick Starr, and I actually got to have a conversation with Patrick as well, and I will truly honestly probably always remember that conversation, because he was just so incredibly sweet, and the things he said to me were so special. It literally almost made me cry. We were just talking kind of about like the journey of being a smaller content creator, and just how we all have something to bring to the table, and we all have our unique stories, you know, things that I say all the time. But it was just really, really special. And to top it all off, that event was actually on Valentine's Day. So then the day just continued, and me and Kevin had a date night that evening, which was super sweet. Speaking of social media, like milestones, I guess, in March, I actually got to collaborate with Olfactory here in New York City and design my own perfume with them. One of, again, just like the social media highlights of the year for me, and I'm still obsessed with the perfume that I did for them. It's actually still for sale. Totally not the full point of this video, but it's something that I am like really proud of, and to me it was just like a really special moment. I love perfume. It's always been something that I've just loved, and so to be able to like collaborate with a fragrance brand was really, really epic. April, things really started to pick up, and it was a super busy month. I feel like typically January through March is kind of like the quiet time for everybody. April, things picked up a lot. It started off with a trip to Nashville. Me, Kevin, and Dakota went down there for a few days to spend time with my family. I got to see my family dog Spencer, who is still thriving. I get a lot of questions about him. He's doing very well. We did a little photo shoot as well when we were down there, like a family photo shoot with me, Kevin, my mom, and my grandma, which is really sweet. So we have like those photos to treasure, which is really nice. I obviously got to spend a lot of time with my dad while I was down there too, which was just super nice, because at the time I didn't really know the next time that like we would be seeing each other. Little did I know that it would just be a few months down the road, which obviously I'll talk about. Most of you guys know what I'm referring to. So we had the Nashville trip, and then a little bit later in the month, I actually sang at a really fun, pretty large gala slash fundraiser for the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. I actually did quite a bit of work with the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation over the course of like the pandemic, but we're still in a pandemic, but the main pandemic years, if you will. I produced quite a few virtual events for them, and so this was the first year that they were finally able to do things back in person, and they invited me to come and perform at this gala slash fundraiser. It's called Broadway Belts for PFF, so the lineup, as kind of the name alludes to, is full of Broadway stars. So to be in the same room as them and in the same lineup as them, huge honor. Kevin was my date. I bought a really fun new outfit for myself. It was this fantastic hot pink suit from Zara that I then got custom tailored so it looked really like fitted to me. I did my own glam and everything, ended up loving it. You guys know at the end of the day, I kind of always prefer doing my own glam, so I loved that I kind of had full control over like the look. It was so much fun though, a great night. I was so happy that I got to share that memory with Kevin too. And then just like a few days later, the last week of April, I was actually invited to go see Girl from the North Country on Broadway as a theater influencer. I've obviously grown up going to see Broadway shows, and I've continued to do so through my adult life. I'm not just an actor, but I'm also just a huge theater and Broadway fan. And so going to a Broadway show isn't anything like new for me, but being invited as like a content creator was again such a pinch me moment. And again, I got to bring Kevin as my +1. All right, I think that was it for April, at least like the big highlights. I'm sure there are so many things I could mention for each month, but I kind of like to keep it to just like the main things, if that makes sense. Okay, May of 2022, Kevin and I went to go see American Buffalo on Broadway, which was so good. May was literally just a month of shows in general, which again, I'm so lucky. It was so much fun. So I'll go through all the Broadway shows that we saw first, and then I'll end it with like kind of the main event in my opinion. So we saw American Buffalo on Broadway that month. We saw Funny Girl, we saw Plaza Suite, we saw Mr. Saturday Night. I think that's it. And we literally saw, like American Buffalo, Kevin and I saw on our own, but the other 3 shows, we literally saw those with my mom and sister over the course of like a weekend. It was like a marathon of Broadway shows, but so much fun. But then May was also the month that I finally got to go to Madison Square Garden and see Billy Joel live. Now I've seen Billy Joel live once before in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena, but I have always wanted to go to his Madison Square Garden like residency. My mom had actually gotten me, Kevin, her, and my sister Ava tickets for my 21st birthday, which obviously due to the pandemic, the show was canceled. So we weren't really sure like when we were gonna be able to use the tickets or what show it was gonna be rescheduled for. And then finally in May of 2022, literally a month before my 23rd birthday, we finally got to use our tickets and go see Billy Joel. If you can't tell, if it's not obvious already, Billy Joel is my favorite artist of all time pretty much, and so he's just always been such a musical inspiration to me, a songwriting inspiration, and just to be able to finally see him live at Madison Square Garden, it was unlike anything else I've ever had the privilege of seeing. I was like so emotional that night because truly it felt like a dream come true. It's one of the best concerts I've ever seen, probably the best honestly. Our seats were insane. We were like the 9th row on the floor. So like the seats couldn't have been better either. It was truly just, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Okay, so then we hit the last day of May/June of 2022. If you have followed me since then, you know what I'm about to talk about. If not, this is kind of a wild story and time in not just my life, but like my entire family's life. So May 31st, my dad had a sudden, completely unexpected, no prior warnings, cardiac arrest at his gym, where he almost lost his life. I mean, that's just like the only way to put it. I was obviously here in New York when that happened. I was not aware that anything happened until my mom called me from the hospital to let me know. And for those of you who even know a little bit about my dad, you would know that he is truly like one of the healthiest people on the planet. He is the last person anybody would ever expect for this to happen to. So to say that it was a shock was an understatement, and luckily he had people at the gym who literally were able to save his life. Like that's not even a stretch of that term. They literally saved his life. And so by the time the paramedics got there and then they brought him to the hospital, he was back, he was conscious, he was talking. And so I was able to immediately FaceTime him as soon as my mom called me. And at the time, because it was obviously like so sudden and no prior warning, like doctors didn't even know like what had even happened. Like at the time they didn't even know that it was cardiac arrest. We all just knew that like my dad was at the hospital, and my mom was telling me, you know, until there's like an answer, I don't really think that there's a reason for you to like come down here yet, because you know I was working at Solid Core and I had auditions that week and I don't know, something else. But like I was already packing a bag and getting ready to fly out there, but I was like, okay, like I'll wait for your call. But later that night we did get news that he was going to need open heart surgery, specifically a triple bypass. And so the next morning, first flight out, I was on my way to Nashville with my sister Ava. Because of the shape that my dad was in prior to all of this happening, everybody was confident that like he was going to be more than fine, but I was not going to just be here in New York while this was happening. Like I needed to be in Nashville. So I packed just my carry-on suitcase from away and my like kind of work tote from Bays, and I told Kevin, because Kevin was staying here with Dakota because he had to work. I was lucky where I was in the position where I could do everything remotely, but I told Kevin, I was like, I don't know how long I'll be gone. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, something tells me it's gonna be closer to a month. And because of just the wonderful, amazing human being that he is, Kevin said, that's fine, like you need to go. So Ava and I flew down to Nashville. She was still in school at the time, so she was only in Nashville for, I want to say like 5 days or so, but I ended up being there for over a month. It was like a month and a week, I think, in total. Maybe a month and 2 weeks, actually. I think closer to that. I could probably make a 10-hour video about that month in Nashville. It's honestly really hard for me to describe what that time was like, because while it was extremely traumatic and emotional, it was also like one of the best months I ever could have asked for, because I got to spend so much time with my dad, and it was literally just me and him for the majority of it. 2 of his sisters did come down for his time in the hospital and his first like primary week of recovery, but it really was just mostly me and him, because also for that first month, you know, obviously recovering from open heart surgery is a pretty intensive process. We didn't really leave his place much, and my dad is one of my best friends, so this time was just really, really special. And ever since moving to New York full time, you know, it's hard to see him on a consistent basis. So it was really like such a blessing in the end. I'm just really thankful that, one, I was in the position where I was still primarily working for myself full time, so I was able to take off that time. But even SolidCore, because at the time I was just doing front desk, they were like, go, be away as long as you need to be, like it's okay. Like I just feel so lucky that everybody was so understanding. And while it was like I said, a very emotional, slightly traumatic month, there were also so many good memories. Like I got to spend Father's Day with my dad, my birthday down in Nashville, his birthday, and I also get to spend more time with my mom, my grandma, my cousins, everything like that. I jokingly said to my dad, I was like, I didn't even have any plans for my 23rd birthday anyways, because I feel like that's kind of a random age, so you know what, I'm glad that I'm down here with you. We also just had a lot of fun days just like sitting on the couch watching Netflix and new series together. My parents are divorced, but when they were together and when me and my sister were growing up, my dad was definitely like the cook of the family, so he was the one who would typically make dinners for us every night. And so it was really special to again like be in this place where he was making dinner a lot for me and him, like most of the nights that I was there. He recovered amazingly well. Like, moral of the story, he is doing fantastic. He feels amazing, he looks amazing. And so because of the shape he was in prior to the event happening, his recovery was just like better than anybody could have ever expected. Dakota's currently sitting on my lap. We're just gonna keep going. But yeah, I mean, it was a big month, but it's a month that I'm very thankful for. I'm so thankful to all of the doctors, nurses, surgeons who helped make sure that my dad is still here. And I'm in awe at my dad's strength and determination and just all of the above. I've always been amazed by him, but especially during that time, I'm just really thankful, if you can't already tell, that he is still here. And it was a crazy month, but I'm so glad that I was able to be there for him during the entire time. I also put together a huge fundraiser for him towards the end of my time there. I worked with his gym to put together a fundraiser for him, so by that point he was able to like be out of the apartment and drive on his own and walk, and so he was able to be there and like participate and be around everybody and tell stories. And my dad is such a social guy, so I know that like that really meant a lot to him. But yeah, that was pretty much my June. I mean, not much else to say about that, although I feel like I spent a pretty decent amount of time talking about it. I would say, you know, at first I was gonna say like it was a lot of highs and lows combined into one month, but honestly it was mostly just really good things and amazing memories that I'm so grateful for. For such a traumatic month, there were also just a lot of laughs and a lot of good times. So I'm just really thankful. And I'll always remember that time. It's truly, I think, forever gonna be one of like the most special moments in my life. So the first half of my July was still spent in Nashville, a little bit more out and about just because my dad had less like recovery limitations. Yep, July 11th is when I went back to New York. I literally just checked my photos to see. And then the rest of July was honestly just kind of getting back to like my routine, getting back to normal, going back to work at SolidCore, catching up on my freelancing clients. By the way, if the lighting's getting a little weird, it's very gloomy in New York today, so I'm just kind of like taking what I can get. August was a really fun month. I took a trip for an entirely different reason than I did in June. August, we went on vacation with Kevin's family. We went to Myrtle Beach, which I believe it was actually my first time going there. Super fun. We spent, I think, a full week there with Kevin's family, including his adorable little niece, so that was so much fun. Dakota got to come. She was thriving. We learned that she loves the beach. She honestly didn't really care about the sand. She liked the waves. Ate some good food, got lots of sun, had fun little outings, and it was just like a really nice vacation and just like a fun way to spend the end of summer. Then we get to September, and needless to say, I loved September. If this is like not the first time you're seeing my face, then you already know why, but I'm still gonna go into it. Ever since Kevin and I started dating, September has always been one of my like favorite months out of the year because it's just like a lot of celebrating and a lot of fun. September 17th is our anniversary, and then September 20th is Kevin's birthday. So it's like back to back, just like lots of celebrating, fun, good energy. And it was again this year. Our anniversary was so lovely. Kevin took me out for a beautiful dinner that evening. Then 3 days later, it was his birthday and I planned the entire day. We went out to one of our favorite Italian restaurants for dinner. His birthday ends, September 21st hits, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess that wraps up all the celebrating that we had in September, la-di-da. And then what do you know, September 21st, we got engaged. Our engagement slash proposal story is already up on my YouTube channel, but I truly had no idea that it was gonna be happening that day, which made it just even better and so much more of a surprise. I pretty much knew that like we would be engaged by the end of the year. I just didn't know when, and so it was like truly just like wild when it finally happened because I had no idea. Kevin played it so cool. It was just like the most perfect day. I could not have wished for a better proposal. I still just like love my ring. I look at it every single day and I clean it religiously because it's like my most prized possession. After the proposal happened, we had a photo shoot in Central Park, which again, like you guys probably have either seen on my TikTok, Instagram, or my YouTube channel story time. We went home, called immediate family, and then just like honestly went to bed because we were exhausted. And then what was really fun is the next day, Kevin worked from home. I didn't have work at all, so I just spent the entire day calling friends, family, anyone who I wanted to know before we did like the mass social media announcement. It was such a wonderful month though. It was just full of celebrating, it was full of love, it was full of joy, just so many like firsts and monumental moments. I think that's all for September. I say that like nothing happened, when in reality it was like everything happened. October was definitely a really big career month in the sense that I started my SolidCore coach training. So like I said, I've actually worked at SolidCore since November of 2021, where I've worked as a front desk staff member. But then in October, I started training to become a coach, which is something that I had been thinking about for quite some time. Training was fast and furious. It was 3 weeks of training, but not every single day. It was literally basically just on the weekend. So it was 3 weeks, but it was like 8 days worth of training where you were having so much information thrown at you, but like in the best way possible. And I truly loved it. I just like ate it up. I was just so excited to start the journey of becoming a coach, and I had a feeling that it was going to be like everything that I wanted it to be and more, which it totally has been. I post about it all the time on my Instagram and my TikTok, but I truly like, I just love coaching so much, and it also pairs really well with just being a performer here in New York City. I love the SolidCore community. It's one of my favorite places, and I'm so thankful for this like new step in my growth there. And that was pretty much the majority of what my October was consumed with. It was just mostly training, and the days that I wasn't training, I was working front desk at SolidCore, trying to keep up with my filming schedule for this and for TikTok. I feel like I kind of had my head in the sand the entire month of October, but for good reason. November rolled around, I had finished training, I had started coaching full-time, which was just super exciting. And my dad also came to visit New York for a little over a week. My dad was actually supposed to fly out for his birthday in June. That was a gift that I got him, but obviously due to everything that happened in June that was no longer possible. So we switched his trip so that he could come up for Thanksgiving this year, which kind of ended up working out just perfectly. It was amazing to finally get to have my dad here in the city again, and he actually took 2 solid core classes that I coached while he was here, so that was just a really cool full circle moment of like having my dad, who's really the person who inspired my whole like love of fitness and passion for it. It was really amazing to have him in class and get to be his coach. Kevin took a class with my dad, which was just like fantastic, having both my fiance and my dad in my solid core class. And then, like I said, he was also here for Thanksgiving, and we actually ended up going to Staten Island to be with Kevin's family on Thanksgiving, and my dad came, and it was actually funny enough the first time that my dad finally got to meet Kevin's family. I was so happy that they were finally able to meet. I knew that it would happen eventually. I just didn't want the first time everyone met to like be at the wedding or something like that. But he got to meet everybody. Everyone got along so well. I wasn't expecting anything less. It was such a nice Thanksgiving. It was just like very chill and family oriented, and it was really, really nice. We ate so much good food while my dad was here. He has obviously spent plenty of time in New York. He's actually lived in New York. So we didn't like do a ton of like touristy things per se, but we just like ate good food, took lots of walks, also just like hung out here at the apartment too. It was just like super nice. And then finally, last but certainly not least, December of 2022. What a crazy month. Usually December is a pretty quiet month for theater auditions, but it ended up being a crazy audition month for me. I auditioned for lots of cool projects, both on the film and television side, but also the live theater side. Social media wise, I was doing Vlogmas, which I always love, but it is definitely quite a task when you choose to take it on. I did it a little differently this year, where while I was vlogging every single day, I wasn't posting every single day, and I feel like that definitely worked better for me this year, and I really liked the format. I felt like the content was a bit more, it had like a bit more substance to it. And just like my personal life, it was my first holiday season being engaged. You know, it was me and Kevin's first holiday season as an engaged couple, which I was just like really looking forward to, honestly. Again, just like a lot of firsts and new experiences and new memories as a couple. The holidays are my favorite time of year. I always try and just like soak them in as much as possible, and it's like just the most festive time. It makes me so happy. And December was honestly great. It was really busy, but I felt like I was thriving and just really enjoying life. Not that I wasn't any other time of year, but there's just something extra special about the holidays. And then when I thought it just like couldn't get any better, the last week of December, I accepted a new position with Solid Core as the head coach and community manager of my studio. This is actually the first time that I'm saying that on YouTube. I already made a TikTok announcement about it and posted it on Instagram because I knew that I wouldn't be able to speak about it on YouTube until filming my next video, which is going to be into 2023 after I already started the position. So I just wanted people to know about it. I wanted to finally share the news because I've been holding it in for quite a few weeks. But now I guess the secret is out everywhere. Yeah, I am the head coach community manager at the Solid Core that I work at. Is a huge promotion, huge honor, big life change. But I even said a few months ago, and I think I said it in a YouTube video, that I really feel like 2023 is going to be the year of lots of positive change for me in like every single aspect. It's gonna be a lot of change, but it's all gonna be like very beneficial and for positive reasons. When the job became available, I immediately knew that I wanted it, and so I went for it, and I got the offer like less than a week later. I had to sit on that news for like 2 weeks without telling anybody. I'm just so excited. You guys know, like I said, fitness, wellness, health have always been huge passions of mine, and it also pairs really well with being a performer here in the city too. And so it just felt really right to take on this job, and I kind of thought, you know what, I want this, like what's stopping me? I'm still gonna be able to audition, I'm still gonna be able to continue with my social media. I'm just now adding like another new title to my name, if that makes sense. I guess like another new career hat, if you will. But yeah, I am so excited. This has actually been my first full week on the job. It's been a ton of work, but in the best way possible. Because not only have I been like officially on the clock, but I've also been like training at the same time. So it's been a lot, but in the best way, like I said. It was honestly like a really great way to end the year and start this new one, was with this really big change and announcement. But I also love, like I said, that I'm still able to audition. I'm not going anywhere here on social media, so you don't have to worry about that. And I guess that wraps up my 2022 review, for lack of a better word. We definitely ended up talking for a good chunk of time. I'm gonna have a lot of editing to do, and regardless, I hope that you guys have like, you know, a snack or something as you're watching this, because it's gonna definitely be long no matter how much I edit this down. All in all though, I would say 2022, looking back on it, was a really really good year. It was a year of a lot of firsts and personal life things. Was it like my craziest year career-wise? No, I don't think so. But I also don't look back on the year and like wish that it was, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm really content with the way that 2022 went, and I feel extremely excited for this new year. We're only a few days in and I'm already just loving it. Like I said, I feel like it's gonna be a year of a lot of positive change and big adjustments and just kind of getting ready for the future. I guess towards the end of this year is when we'll also start wedding planning, which is really crazy. I have loved not planning anything yet, but I think by the time, you know, it needs to start happening, I'll be ready to, you know, hit the ground running. As always, I'm very excited to continue creating content for you all and just see where that continues to go. You guys know, I love my YouTube family so much. I also love my TikTok family as well. Both of the platforms are so incredibly important to me, and both of my communities just like mean the world to me. And so I'm just so excited to continue creating and see what happens. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What a way to kick off 2023. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And again, click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Be sure to follow me on all of my other social media networks as well. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse. I'm not really on there anymore. I don't know why I still say that, but like I have a profile, so I guess you can follow me on there. I have an Amazon shop, a like to know it page. There's just tons of information in the description box down below. But I love you guys so much. I hope that you're having a safe, happy, and healthy new year so far. And I will talk to you guys again very, very soon in my next video. Okay, bye everybody.